Because of that victory and because the Cyclops struggling, Cloud9 are set to make the lower bracket playoffs if they can keep Cyclops out of it. But they're going to be trying to get into those upper bracket as much as possible and trying to get every single map win that they can. Here against FaZe is another telling moment for Cloud9. Can they take it here? Can they hang with the big hitters here at SI?
Well, if we want APAC to do as well as we know they can in their own region, James, you and I are from the Asia-Pacific region, and specifically Oceania. We know how well the teams perform in their region. But you're right, if they want to hang with the international big boys, they have to put results on the board. Here is Cloud9's opportunity to prove everyone wrong and that they're not necessarily always going to be the underdogs. A double hard breach ban kicks off here, and that's not unusual for a map like Clubhouse, but you and I were talking about how important, in fact, how powerful Maverick and Hibana are on this map, and now poof, they're gone.
Yeah, personally, I think that Maverick and Hibana are the two best hard breach. And if you want, if you needed to, like for Clubhouse specifically, I should add asterisks. If you want two hard breaches on Clubhouse, it's those two. And so what this means is now obviously it's the Ace and Thermite that will come and be, for the most part, what you're seeing almost every round, plus that Thatcher. That Thatcher is really necessary. And what that means is with Maverick Band, Maverick kind of does the job of Thatcher plus your Thermite or Ace. And so with Maverick Band, you kind of have to bring two extra operators now. And I think that gives you a lot less flexibility on your attacking lineup. And you're probably going to see this exact lineup every single round from both teams. Maybe you'll see the Ash change over for something else if you're lucky. But this is pretty much what the attacks are locked into for the whole map.
It's surprising as well because FaZe love to bring Maverick on Clubhouse as well. They'll bring an Ace and Ace is in play, but something even more interesting is we don't get to see Thatcher played a heck of a lot. A lot of bans from the games that you and I have been covering have been Thatcher based. Now, well, he'll be able to get freely played. Taylor will play it this round. And for me as a whole, I'm more interested to see how are they going to deal with these hatches, because without a Maverick, without a Hibana, you are forced to have to use those Selmas or that exothermic. So maybe teams will try and avoid the kitchen hatch. It's very tumultuous to use either of those there. Or otherwise we will see a different version of play. Interestingly enough, unless I have my wires crossed in my brain here, James, there was no Kaid ban, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so no Kaid being played. That could have been super helpful, but it looks like they're going to, implement a bit of a roam strategy instead.
Yeah, there are a lot of different ways that teams like to interpret this basement defense, and it's pretty much 50-50 these days whether teams go for those anchor-centric strategies, which you would usually see like a Kaid in to protect those hatches, or whether you see a more roam-centric strategy, which is clearly what is exhibited here. As you can see, a lot of reinforcements set up off-site, the Vigil, pretty common pick, and tandem with the Mute, good information denial. If there is anything that is a little bit of a surprise in the operator lineup for FaZe, is that Alibi. Not something you see every day. And what's more, Alibi without even her shield, she has impacts presumably to impact the kitchen hatch. With Hibana banned, impact tricking that kitchen hatch is pretty viable, as Cloud9 don't really have many second chances when it comes to that hard breach, just 3 Selmas and 2 Thermite charges. So I like the fact that we've got lots of impacts from FaZe. I think that that kitchen hatch should stay pretty safely intact.
Well, it just looks like C9 now are trying to take stock in the fact that there are quite a few roamers. There's barricades left, right, and center. They're trying to work out where are they holding above. Are they going to do damage to us if we try and get the hatches? The answer is yes. Astro, top of blue, looking to make an entrance into garage and thinks better of it. Knows that there was a player shooting through the wall to get that default cam. And as Cyber runs around desperately looking for these players, he won't be spotted out just yet because he has his gadget on. And there we go, crosses over, caught out by the crossfire. Watch your backs, as that is a double entry kill from C9, swiftly traded by the C4 of Bullet.
Overall, though, Cloud9 should be fairly satisfied with that roam clear. Half the round gone, and the remaining FaZe players fall back to the site. Now, while they have taken down that Thatcher, honestly not such a big deal, Jess, considering the fact that, as you highlighted, there is no Kaid.
Right.
Cloud9 don't really have that many electronic gadgets they need to disable. They can rely on plenty of soft breach and explosives on Charl and Static, and plenty of hard breach still remaining on the 2 Selmas from Harper. My question is, how many of these hatches have actually been breached already, and how many still need to be done?
Oh, that left wall being soft for the line of sight means Static can open that wide open. That is a complete access point here for C9 should they want to get a plant behind boxes there. This means they might want to rethink where they want to get this plant off. That is a free area. In fact, they don't really need to use any more of the Selmas. Maybe they want to open a line of sight. But hatches are open. Everything is accessible here for C9. Is there no rotate in blue? Is that what I was seeing there? Maybe Charles doesn't even need to worry about it.
Oh, the hatch isn't open yet. That's the thing about not having a Hibana. Now, as a result, blue is going to be so challenging to take, but this man advantage is furthered now. Cloud9 starting strong, and they're just going to make this even better. Astro will do what he can, which is nothing. And Cloud9 starts so strongly here on Clubhouse.
What an unbelievably well-timed pinch push upstairs on that roam clear. They had someone over in logistics, that as you would expect, which is why we had the Vigil swing it. But surely he knew someone was holding a line of sight from Jacuzzi. I mean, a lot of questions for the roamers of FaZe there. They were just throwing their bodies left, right, and center. And C9, they seemingly only had to hold angles there, and they were gifted time and time again. Interesting setup from FaZe. I do think it's a Latin American-esque setup that we saw there. You know, that right-hand wall being opened up on the triple wall. We saw them have a little bit of a sporadic blue setup. Nothing was opened up. Maybe that so that they couldn't be rushed. I'm not sure what that point was there, but overall it didn't really work for them. So now they're going to try gym and bedroom instead. And for those who are wondering why go to this one next, well, it's actually their second most favorite site to go to, and that's FaZe. So they're going to go here, and they have a pretty alright win rate of it. I don't have a huge sample size to go off of here, James, but I mean, they win more often than not. More than 50% of the time they've played it in the past 6 months, they've won it.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Good size. For FaZe.
Good size, mate. Yeah.
Gotta bring some Aussie out of us every now and then.
Of course.
Yeah, look, I guess you just have to write that round off of your face. Like we've been saying, this is totally a FaZe favored game, right? Everyone here, like, I don't know what the channel point setting is at on Twitch with people all putting down their channel points here. But I saw the pre-predictions for the game, very heavily FaZe favored. I've no doubt that most people have put their channel points down on FaZe as well. And rightfully so, right? Like, these guys should take it. But we also should expect a fairly defense-favored, if not even, Clubhouse, right? And, wow, that K Claw managed to trick the thermite charge? That was
a last second. That was, I'm going to say a millisecond there. No, every single one of those EMPs is going to be used as well. How's Jacuzzi wall looking? Because isn't there a bandit trigger over there as well? That is bad. There it is. Thank you very much to our observer. Not sure if it's medics or easy at the moment, and they have put 3 different electrification on there, and it's easy at the moment. You know why I can't tell? Because they are both experts at that, and Static wants to make his entry. We've seen him do this time and time before in APAC North. He'll crouch walk his way in, as Ash mains do, and do a heck of a lot of damage. Quick peeks will confirm someone is in bathroom, and big thing for me is if they can't get that Jacuzzi wall open, we will see a one-dimensional attacking C9, which unfortunately is not unusual.
A lot of work to be done for Cloud9 as FaZe all reside on the bomb site, playing so safely. And so much wall denial, not just that Jacuzzi wall, but also the logistic wall has been denied as well. Cameraman, where was that? Invitational goes down. Doesn't matter that he's got no EMPs, he's now got no life. A long shot all the way in from logistic office through the bullet holes. My God, cameraman. That is dirty, and Cloud9 now scrambling to try and find a push with no available hard breach realistically.
How did they get that wall? I did picture seeing that electric claw really quite high up on the wall. What are they opening with it? Where are you opening, Harper?
Castle barricade, probably.
It had to have been, because I'm telling you what, he cannot throw his Selmas almost anywhere. Charles has an accident all the way over towards the hatch, and Harper's going to have to run all the way out. That's just salt in the wound, James.
This is what you call an avalanche, right? We saw that great trick from the Kayi, the juggle, and that denied 1 thermite charge. As a result, Invitational used all of his EMPs. Because of that, Cloud9 couldn't breach logistic wall from Con or the Jacuzzi wall, and because of that, they have sat around twiddling their thumbs for a whole minute. unable to do anything, and the shot calling is just not enough. They have to go in and they have to go hard. Cloud9 desperately try and pull off and execute out of an unlikely scenario. Cyber takes down Static. Here's the perfectly prepped castle barricade, but somehow Nova gets the plant down. Cloud9, they pull it out of absolutely nowhere in a 3 versus 3. Diffuser is defended, and now a 2v2. Cameraman and Souls doing their best with 30 seconds left. But the A-Pack have come in for the A-Tack. And Cloud9 are holding on to this bomb site. With 20 seconds to go, FaZe have no chance. This is unbelievable. What a comeback for Cloud9. Nova to find one more, and that is it. C9 are gonna be happy about that one.
I'm sorry, it's like Christmas Day for them, James. They woke up and all of their dreams come true, and they've opened up every present, and it's everything they've ever wanted, even though it was shaped like a bag of coal. Because that's what that round was, a bag of coal transformed into their wildest dreams. Unbelievable to me that FaZe lose that round. I'm honestly in awe of the fact that one, C9 could win it, and two, FaZe could throw it that hard. Two ends of the spectrum. And it is incredible to me that that goes down that way. I mean, it's really difficult to analyze it, because we can turn around and say the tenacity there of C9 to get on in, focus on the plant, not overthink it and hold the crosses was good. But that castle on the gym door was prepped. And then the Jaeger just, of course, with the smoke guarding the players, couldn't quite see, so it's not particularly his fault. There's a lot going on there, but I digress. 2 rounds in a row for Cloud9. And as we go into the 3rd round here, I don't want to scare the Latin American fans out there whatsoever. This is not a scare tactic. But just remember, FaZe is a defensive-sided team on Clubhouse. So if they don't get a few more rounds, looking a bit troublesome for them.
5 seconds remaining.
Glad you took the mic there for a second, Jess. Definitely needed to cool off after that.
I got you.
I couldn't believe that, man. I still am getting over it. It's been a whole minute since Cloud9 pulled that off. Still recovering. FaZe, I don't know what's going on. They played everything so well, and then Cloud9 out of nowhere managed to pull off that execute. 2 for 2 for the Koreans. See if this can build into some momentum for C9. And so far, the hard breach, which has been a massive challenge for them as we harped on about last round, is going well for C9. But of course, it will be the main Kennel's wall itself that is the most important factor. Nova already used 1 thermite charge, so he doesn't have a second if his first one, or if his final one now, gets juggled by Astro. Cloud9 need to have a proper way of dealing with this juggle.
Oh, speaking of dealing with it, Charles deals with Cyber, and Bullet will therefore deal with Static. Biggest thing for me is that, well, you take out Static, you take out a few of those Ash charges, but you've taken away the C4 that Cyber would have had in hand, and technically that's the better pick here. Static's job is to be that entry fragger, and, well, he kind of did his job, I guess. I mean, one's down, an impact underneath will move Astro back and he'll lose 50 HP as a result, so wall does get opened up, and you said they need to deal with this somehow, some way that doesn't force them to have to use all of their EMPs. There you go, successfully done. Smoke pops out to cover the Selma onto the garage rotate, and this round is looking spicy and fast and efficient here from C9 so far.
It's just so well played, isn't it? Cloud9 have ticked every box they set out to. The cameraman and Astro are playing so aggressively. This is FaZe. But Shyle gets one back, 3 versus 3. I really like that play from the Brazilians. They knew they were at a disadvantage. Cloud9 had breached just about everything they wanted to. So FaZe took a risk.
Good calculated risk, however. Unfortunately, the smoke falls. That would be a bit of plant denial you would need. Souls, be careful. The wall's opened up, buddy, and that's the purpose for it. That means he'll get pinched left, right, down the bottom of garage. They're looking for him. They'll start spreading around garage, and as they do, they'll get him. Souls will fall, and with 44 seconds left, you go, hello? What are you doing over there? You'll get punished for that one, Bullet. And as he does, it is all on the back of Astro, who is going to have a momentous run. No C4 in hand. He brings barbed wire instead. No possible way to deny this. Has to hit every shot.
He misses his first one. Plant going down, close to the wall. EMP should help mask the sound. Astro doesn't have the info. He might have the idea, but the pre-fire is going to make this so difficult. Shyle on the other side, Invitational to hold garage. A drone goes out as well. Astro, this is a massive task. Cloud9 have just won 3 attacks in a row.
I don't mean to alarm you here, James, but both of these teams are defensive-sided teams. Statistically, over the past 12 to 15 games they've played on Clubhouse, they're a pretty defensive-sided team. The fact that Cloud9 has won 3 attacking rounds in a row is not that usual for them in any way, shape, or form. And they're one of the big kings of APAC North. So every time they've played Clubhouse, presumably, they've won a lot of them, except for Team Liquid, of course, the other day. And then one of the other Korean teams during the Korean Open, which they said they don't really focus on. They usually just focus on the regular league. So just saying, they usually win their matches. They don't do too well on their attack usually, but they're getting the full brunt of it here, FaZe. And I don't know what to say. I don't know how to enlighten the Latin American fans out there to say, oh, it's just this or it's just that. But there are a lot of precarious positioning here of FaZe. And I think that is what is losing them player after player after player.
Yeah, it's funny because this is not a situation where FaZe are playing bad and that is allowing Cloud9 to achieve more than they deserve. This is not what's happening right now. This is FaZe are playing really well. Their wall denial was exceptional.
Oh, it was exceptional.
And Cloud9, they just bypassed it, right? And in that round just then, Cloud9 had really good hard breach, and then FaZe made some really good calculated risks on the back of that to try and punish Cloud9 or maintain that advantage for FaZe. FaZe are playing well, Cloud9 is playing better, and this is honestly the first time this has happened at SI this year. The first time an APAC team has really looked seriously better than their opponent.
Yeah. Absolutely. There was one round on Jim, of course, that C9 should not have won. Pulled that one out of their backside, I think, there, and they're very lucky to have. But nevertheless, the other 2 rounds, they've looked very dominant. You are right. For me right now, FaZe, they're going to attempt to do this top floor roam. This was the round where I felt their positioning was the worst, especially from their roamers. They were putting their backs to open angles they knew were open. Default cams would have given away the information. In fact, the player, I believe it was the Malusi who ran down main stairs, was just shot from that angle. So a little bit of miscommunication from some of these roamers. They're going to commit to the exact same setup that they implemented in the very first round. And this roam with the mute jammed walls and assisting them with being able to hold the top floor for as long as possible is what they want to commit to. And I am looking over, they have 4, 5, oh my god, look how many impacts they have in hand. If they want to open up the entire kitchen roof, let's say, or the bar roof, they could with a moment's notice.
Yeah, FaZe once again going for this loose roam. I appreciate this aggression, but Cloud9 are playing really well. Ooh, just missing that drone. It's pretty pivotal there that Cloud9 have kept that drone alive and that they're aware Bullet is playing aggressively here. He finally shoots that drone and backs down a little bit. Remember, Cyber is upstairs.
Nice little elevator music in the background there. He'll keep that radio up, even though you can shoot it to get rid of the music. And maybe it's just playing his song as he lets a player run past. This is what I was afraid of. He'd open up the verticals and decimate them. But don't worry, the teammates of Astro and Cameraman say, we've got it, buddy. And this is why we have this set up down here. It's so that they can deal with them on an aggressive angle. Charles, he doesn't let the drop happen on him. And as a result now, they are slowly bringing back the man count, but with only Invitational and Charles left, there's not a lot to work with here. Only thing we can really think about doing is maybe impacting that left triple wall again and entering through there, maybe even Ash wall. But with so much time left and the diffuser in the hands of the defenders, it seems like a very tall task.
Setting a charge.
Cloud9 don't have a lot to work with, but at least Invitational is trying to put some pressure onto... Oh my god, there you said it. You mentioned the impacts. They are actually being used aggressively onto the kitchen floor. So credit to Souls for giving that one a go. We've seen some pretty funny impact kills so far in SI. This is looking pretty grim though now for C9. That triple threat of kills from FaZe with that failed rush from Nova. Oh, really not the play. Cameraman, oh, that is the perfect spray. Pulls down just enough, and now Invitational, the captain of Cloud9, and their star player needs to have a massive moment. But I just don't think it's possible here. 40 seconds left. It's likely that this is where FaZe got their first round. Lovely observing there from Easy, catching Astro on the bullet holes, and Astro leads the way for FaZe.
I think what C9 had tried to do was do one of those bait and switch type strategies, and it's where you go, hey, look at me here, I'm clearing you, and then all the rest of the players run in blue and try and get a plant off. That won't work. Why? Because, well, FaZe implements a dual strategy, one where they have a couple of players upstairs, noticeably so. They actually had a main stairs player who was lurking quite low, back closer to side. Then when in the first round they were up closer to the top floor, they left the vigil by themselves predominantly. The trade wouldn't have been possible with the distance between them. And then the players on site focused on being on site, being on cameras for the roamers rather, and etc. All of those different things. If you put a switch in bait, you better hope that you hit your shots. Otherwise, there's no point doing it. You're missing guns upstairs. You're missing a bit of utility. Now we will go back to gym, where unfortunately FaZe met their misfortune, I'm going to call it, in the last 20 seconds of the round, where C9 somehow got the plant down and were able to hold it post-plant. I think FaZe know what went wrong though, James, and they're not going to repeat it.
At the same time, I would say the same thing for C9, right? Like, the reason why FaZe were in such good position was because Cloud9 ran out of EMPs. The reason they ran out of EMPs is because Souls managed to successfully Kaid juggle that first exothermic charge, and Cloud9 can counter that pretty easily, right? All you need to do to counter the Electric Claw trick is just 2 thatches, right? 2 EMPs. Now, it's a lot of utility, right? But if you haven't already wasted one, it's not that big of an ask. You just use your first 2, make sure that kennels wall gets open, and then you can use your third one for the jacuzzi wall and then counter the bandit trick with Zafir through the drone hole. So I'm pretty confident here that Cloud9, I mean, in my head it all lines up. The puzzle pieces all fall into place, Jess. We just need to see Cloud9 activate upon that, unless if I've missed something.
Well, their idea is right, and of course what I want to see is a good pinch push. It will require the jacuzzi wall being opened up for them. They can't just hope that they hit their shots as they come vaulting through windows. They've opened up some of the castle barricades, this one being one that Harper's looking through now up onto the main stairs. Charles gets his toes shot off by a player laying down in bathroom. That's a lot of his life that will be leached away, and as the bandit trick occurs, they don't look out for that second ADS, and as they try and concuss the bandit trick, it already reactivated. Timing was not in their favor there, and as a result, they need to be far more careful. Static will fall, Charles still up, and if I look over to his concussions, he has 0.
Wow. Okay, so somehow that ADS didn't get affected by the EMP. Cloud9 need to work on their EMP placement to make sure it deactivates that ADS, because this is very similar to last round in the one significant thing has happened and really affected Cloud9's ability to hard breach. Fortunately, they do have the kennels wall open. Oh, Shile.
Hello?
A kill back. Cyber a bit unaware there. Now, there was another player also in con, and that player peeks out and takes down Nova. The Souls looking for a bit more info on him at the moment. Looking to get aggressive on the back of it, as does Bullet, and another one for Souls.
Hello?
What are you doing, Harper? FaZe are back in this game.
What was that round, James? It's like half of these players from C9 and FaZe have their earbuds in back to front. Not sure what's going on, but all I can imagine is that there is chaos in the comms at the moment. Both teams trying to give as much information as they can, and as a result, the players, they're just not able to have the sort of game sense or area sense that would usually have. That's all I can put it down to, but I think C9 have decided that is enough rounds in a row. They've called a tactical pause, and they don't want FaZe to equal things out with them. They have a pretty good lead, or had a pretty good lead, and now that is dwindling very quickly.
Well, at least we can say that for FaZe, after they took their tactical timeout, they've just won 2 rounds straight. Now, it could well be a similar situation for C9 here. Now that they've had a chance to chat it through together, and of course with their coach Oni-chan, former player actually for this roster way, way, way back in the day, been coaching them ever since. But what if you are C9, are you going to be talking about right now? The fact that this is the final round of the half, you know that it's going to be, in all likelihood, over back to cash CCTV, since Church and Arsenal and Gym and Bedroom have just been won, so they're locked. FaZe are either going to cash or they're going to bar, and no one goes to bar, so it's going to be cash. Let's chat about this round, right? Like, what do Cloud9 need to do to make sure that they can lock this in and come away with the advantage in the half?
You know, I'm actually glad they took the tactical pause now, James, because I said they're a defensive-sided team on Clubhouse. Both of these teams are. FaZe is on the back foot here on a half that should be their specialty. Cloud9 want to win this last round so that when they go into their preferred half, they have 2 rounds of buffer to work with. That is a heck of a lot. And I think for Cloud9, if they can walk away CCTV, the same way they opened everything up quick, smart the last time they pushed it, they will do really well. The way they swarmed into Garage and overwhelmed the Wamai, the way they opened up the angle with the Selma with the smoke covering it, that was top tier gameplay. That was top tier utility usage. I want to see that again. Trouble is, I think FaZe are going to be very wary of that now, and hopefully they adapt to it. Otherwise, it's going to be the same story told.
Yeah, in terms of wall denial, I think mostly FaZe will be leaning on the Bandit. I do wonder whether that mute is mostly for drones or for wall denial. The Garage is the main thing we're looking at, because yeah, okay, here we go. Cyber's chucking them down here, which does force some usage of the EMPs, or it forces Cloud9 to get a bit creative and take some risks to try and clear those mute jammers. But we have seen Invitational does struggle a bit with managing how many EMPs to use in different situations. So, yeah, if I'm FaZe, I probably want to be abusing that right now. Ooh, I really like this. Look at that.
Yeah, that was a good double mute.
Yeah.
How many impacts have they got to play with? 4. I mean, FaZe just love their impacts. Not only if they kept both of those mute jammers there, would they force an EMP, but then, of course... oh!
What?
Hello? Good night? That was the window from Con.
Oh my god! What a play! And goodbye, Thermite.
That is huge, James. That is the biggest pick you could have taken. A lot of people would say the ace. Nuh-uh. It's going to be the Thermite. That means you cannot open up Garage without putting yourself in serious danger here, getting those mute jammers, etc. Wow. They haven't even got that open. They didn't even get open the platform wall either. This is a terrible round for C9, who just took their one and only tactical pause.
What a play from Bullet. That is exactly what that, sorry, from Cyber. That is exactly what FaZe needed. Honestly, this is massive. And now FaZe are like, okay, we know that Thermite is dead. We know that we're less worried about the hard breach situation. I mean, C9 haven't even gone and picked up that diffuser yet. They really have to scramble for something a little bit different here, Jess. The only thing I will say is we've seen C9 fail at the hard breach and win the round in the past. So I don't want to count them out yet.
Absolutely right. They're going to impact underneath the platform wall and use that last Selma to get it open. Concussion will rain out, means he definitely cannot bandit trick that one. And the wall will surely get opened up. There we go. You can hear it going off in the background. There's a Banshee on the wall there too. So if anyone enters through that breach, they'll surely be caught out by the edge of that one. And last time we saw Astro swing this breach, he's been droned out. He doesn't seem deterred at all. He goes, that's all right. I'm happy to run across multiple lines of sight. And how he isn't caught out is beyond me, but that's okay. Like you said, C9 have won from disadvantageous situations like this before. It's not beyond them to do. They'll need to get Soul outside of Garage, and as Bullet falls, that is a possibility for them.
Big for Shyle as well. If he can land this pick, that would be Garage control for C9. And it would be massive. Bullet's so low. And he just hits the deck. He wants to find a kill at least before dying, but that is massive, C9. They might be able to bring this back, but there's only 20 seconds to go in the final round of this half on the back of their tactical timeout. FaZe clinging on for dear life. Cameraman holding down the red stairs. It's Sile to take the kill, but Astro denies the plant. Cloud9 in a 3v3. They have to get this done. Diffuser going down. Static finds one. It's all on Bullets. And Cloud9, somehow, they do it again. And the half is theirs for the taking.
That is an unbelievable round. You called it, James. You spoke it into existence. They have won from disadvantageous positions before, and this one was no different. Was that tactical timeout worth it? It's up to you to decide, but that's a round on the board no matter which way you paint it. And all of a sudden, Cloud9 are looking like they might be able to break the losing curse and take away the dominant stance that FaZe has caused throughout ripples of this group stage so far. But we've got to give a little bit of a calm before the storm, a little bit of a breathe in here, James, because we're switching sides here now. And whether this follows the usual trend of C9 being a defensive-sided team on Clubhouse is yet to be seen. FaZe could pull something out of the bag here and show that they can also attack. Let's not forget that.
It's very true. I would have thought that with, we talked about in the prep phase, in the operator veto phase, about the fact that Hibana and Maverick are very, very strong.
Yes.
On this map. Hibana and Maverick are, in my opinion, the best two hard breaches to bring on this map, especially because it gives you some flexibilities in your attacking lineup. You no longer have to bring that Thatcher because of Maverick. And with the Thatcher in and relying on Ace and Thermite, it just opens up so many opportunities and does restrict the attacking side. Here, for example, FaZe are actually not bringing the Ash, they're bringing the Buck instead, which does limit somewhat FaZe's explosives. So clearing shields, for example, or even vertical game, they're not going to have explosives for that. Yeah, they got the soft breach on the skeleton key, but it's not quite the same. What is that?
That is an interesting early C4. I'm wondering whether or not they thought someone was placing a claymore on the door and as a result thought they might be able to catch them out. This is a more interesting one, and this one we have seen in EU time and time again. People will place a mirror window on the wall and then they have an easy time bandit tricking. Gives them the opportunity to see when the EMP is thrown, exactly when everything else is thrown. You should catch that one. Yes, you do. And as a result, that is a perfect bandit trick, and that's what happens when you put a mirror on this wall. You become able to defend it 20 times easier than if you were just using sound.
As a result of that as well, FaZe have just used 2 Selmas and haven't got a single breach for it. So we talked about FaZe's wall denial being too good and Cloud9 often struggling with their hard breach. And it seems like the tables have turned here. On FaZe's own attack, they do tend to struggle with that hard breach, and it looks like they're actually rotating now for a construction side push. Cameraman drones out the master bedroom, which is good because there's no players from Cloud9 to contend with them there. But of course, there's Electroclaws defending that construction wall. So still a lot of work to be done for FaZe.
It's good that they've decided to rotate, however, because sometimes when teams come up against the problem, they just try and bang their heads against it over and over. Speaking of banging heads, Harper knows how to hit one. And Astro will fall. That's going to be the Selma's done and dusted. Still 2 exothermics in the hands of Souls, however. And that is a long-range Electroclaw throw just to make sure that that wall doesn't get opened up. I'm looking over to a couple of the other players. We've still got EMPs to work with here. No grenades, which actually would have helped bouncing it over the roof to displace that Electroclaw. But with that one EMP, they can make this work, and they're waiting for it now. As Cameraman goes underneath, he might even be able to shoot it instead. Oh!
That is massive from Shyle. Now a 5 versus 3 for C9. They're still running away with this, Jess. After everything we have seen from FaZe, first place in BR6 2 seasons running, and it doesn't matter when you've got Cloud9 playing like they do, playing out of their minds. And Cyber desperately pushing through Lounge, likely to meet Shyle in just a moment as they tiptoe around each other. And FaZe looking to make a desperate play. Harper might be good for another kill. Already found 2 so far. Free Fire goes on 4th. And Cloud9 only have to hold on for another 15 seconds. It's all fallen apart for FaZe Clan once again. And they will desperately look for some consolation frags as Bullet has no choice but to proceed forward to march on towards his death. C9 take a 3-round lead.
I can't believe this is what is coming out of your mouth, James. If you had told me we get to round 8 and Cloud9 are seemingly walking all over FaZe, I would not have believed you. I would not have believed you for a second. FaZe is firmly in my predictions for today against Cloud9. And considering how they performed last game, I'm talking just the map before this, how they performed there, and they didn't let it wear them down mentally. They've come into this game, reset themselves so well that they are now dominating one of the best, if not the best team in all of Latin America. It is unreal. APAC is on the map, baby.
Oh, that does get me pretty excited, not gonna lie, Jess. Now, just a fair warning to folks at home. If Cloud9 end up winning this game, if you're wearing headphones, maybe just click down a couple notches, because can't guarantee how loud I may or may not be. If C9 could pull it off, I'm gonna go nuts. So fair warning for you.
There you go. You've been warned. Turn down your sound, because if C9 make it happen, James will let the whole state of Victoria where we live know. I'm telling you. Australia will know about it.
Yeah. I'll have someone in Darwin come and knocking on my door and saying, hey, I was trying to go to sleep and you woke me up. So,
true, it is late. There you go.
It is actually pretty late. It's 10:30 p.m. at the moment down in Kangaroo Land.
Yeah.
Of course, we have a small technical pause here, guys, while we get everyone back into the lobby. Just had a quick rehost. But for FaZe, we're looking at them right now. Lovely merch displayed there, but they've got a lot to talk about. As you can see, cameraman second from the right, letting his feelings be heard. Cameraman, one of the players who has played every single invitational. In fact, I believe Cameraman and Astro from this roster are one of the handful of players who have still managed to play every single 6 invitational. Way back in the day, before picked up by FaZe, these guys were known as Santos Dexterity, before Brazil even had a pro league down in Latin America. So definitely OGs of the scene, these two.
Well, there you go. A little bit of a history lesson with Dev. Just so you guys know, we're going to make this a segment from now on. History with Dev. It's a great one. For those of you wondering what's going on at the moment, one of the players wanted to 6-pick, and for whatever reason their PC wasn't letting them. So that's all it is. We're going to get back into the game and see whether or not we can just redo the start of that round. Nothing had occurred, so don't worry. And they're going to get back on into it. And I can hear it in my background. I'm not sure if the viewers can hear it, but as they load back into it, you won't believe your eyes if you're just joining us right now. Cloud9 are currently several rounds ahead of FaZe, and we are already into the second half where Cloud9 is showing that they aren't just going to be an attacking-sided team. They can also, wrap it around on defense.
Certainly, and what can we say about the tactical timeouts that have been taken from each team so far? FaZe took one when they were 0-3 down and found 2 rounds straight, dominant rounds at that. And then Cloud9 takes one straight away and found their last attack round, and now a defense round. Like, Jess, this is such a significant conversion rate between teams taking tactical timeouts and coming back and breaking that momentum.
It's good to see that it does work, and you can often theorize that maybe it's something another player says during the tactical timeout, or maybe it's something your coach or your analyst says if they're the one standing behind you. And sometimes that's all it takes, is just a little bit of the reset or an understanding of what it is that you and your teammates are doing wrong. And you only get 60 seconds to work with there. I think it may have even been up to just slightly. It depends on the regulations currently. But for me, I want to see C9's roam. We saw them on Coastline, and they hit some good shots. Without a doubt, they hit some good shots, but they had way better shots hit back at them from Team Empire. I want to see if FaZe have the gusto behind them to get this clear, because, I don't know, I'm feeling a bit of deja vu here, James. This looks like the exact setup that we saw from FaZe on their defense.
Yeah, it certainly has a lot of similarities.
A really big fucking
Is this dirt getting opened nice and early? Ooh, mind your language, Souls. All ages broadcast. And Souls is actually getting quite aggressive down dirt early on, and Static says, mate, stop that. None of that. None of that. Absolutely none of it. I'm going to go for more, but Nub Cyber finally shuts him down. He needs to pull out the goo mine, though, or else fall. That tiny little needle. What a start for FaZe. Not the one that they were hoping for, I can tell you that much.
A little bit of a Hail Mary into dirt there, James. No drone in front of him either, so that's a bit of a questionable one. And MV Taylor will dance for his life as they get some of that armory floor opened up. Nova hits a nasty shot from above, and as the verticals are being opened below Nova, Nova says, I'll make my own above you. And it kind of seems to me here that FaZe are just Hail Marying into every room on the map without a drone. That is a very big mistake. You're going up against C9. This is not the easy team you thought it would be, and I think FaZe have underestimated their opponents here, who are absolutely shredding them left, right, and center. You couldn't tell me that Cloud9 had a pretty convincing first half, but this second half has been way more convincing than that, and I fear for FaZe now.
Envy Taylor, very happy about that one. Sharil as well, finally stepping up. He's had a rough season. Cloud9 have match point over FaZe. You heard that right. Cloud9 from Korea have match point over FaZe from Brazil here in the groups stage. And this could be the first win for APAC at the 6th Invitational over another APAC, another team that's not from APAC.
Wow.
What a massive moment here for Cloud9.
If they lose 7-2, so let's say Cloud9 wins this next round here, James, I'm looking back to all of the matches that FaZe have played recently. They beat G2 7-2 by 1. Let's look at their losses. They lost to Liquid 7-3. Okay, that's all right. But then you look at all of their other losses. They lost 7-5, 7-4, etc. The only time they've lost 7-2 was to Team 1 on Chalet. The only, I can't even see them losing this bad before in like the past 15 games. More. I'm still scrolling. Literally, I have nothing since January except for one map against Team 1 where they lost this bad. This will be one of the worst losses on a singular map that they have received since January 1st. That is incredible.
Just insane. Crazy what we are witnessing right now, and this is not even that FaZe are playing bad. This is that Cloud9 are stepping it up and really doing something that we didn't think would be possible. Of course, it's not over yet. FaZe definitely do have a chance back into this. They are attacking, though, here on Clubhouse, and they have to find 4 in a row, and it just has not looked like their game. Cloud9 go over to Jim. Bedroom for the next defense. My question is, are FaZe going to take another big risk? Nova knows he can't commit to that bandit jungler. He falls back. Good progress early from FaZe. And that's a big one! Souls once again enters! The gamble does not pay off! Nova looking for another kill. Shyle steals it from him. And this is all fallen apart for FaZe! Cloud9 are about to take the first victory for APAC here at the 6th Invitational! And Korea take the victory here on Clubhouse. A massive 7-2 dominance.